From being romantically linked to his married co-star Katrina Belf to being accused of manipulating his fans, these are Sam Heughans' most controversial moments. It seems fans have taken Sam and Katrina's on-screen chemistry a little too seriously, and they desperately want the Outlander hunk to be in a relationship with his co-star. Ever since the show started in 2014, dating rumors about the two gorgeous leads have been doing the rounds, but the pair have repeatedly shut down those rumors. Sam says constantly having to explain himself is really exhausting. And although he feels bad for fans who are disappointed that they aren't a real-life couple, it also means they've done an excellent job at being Jamie and Claire. But back in 2016, Katrina was less forgiving and tired of the same old conversation, and that people need to understand the difference between real life and fiction. In other words, Sam and Katrina are different people on screen, but in real life they're best friends and there's nothing romantic going on between them. She married Tony McGill in 2019, and in August of 2021, the couple welcomed a baby boy into the world. Now here's where things get super weird. Some fans believe that their marriage is fake. They even called the church where she got married to check if the wedding actually happened. And it gets worse. After she posted a picture of her son, fans questioned if Sam was the baby's father. Why? Because Sam posted a picture earlier and the bedsheets matched the ones in Katrina's picture. That's nuts, and she's not the only married woman the Scottish heartthrob has been linked to. His chemistry with Priyanka Chopra Jonas in Love Again is absolute fire. And it's got some fans thinking. Once again, fans are taking one of Sam's on-screen relationships way too seriously. But this time there was also a little peck on the nose involved. At the Love Again premiere, Sam gave PC an adorable little kiss on her nose as her husband Nick Jonas looked on, and Sam only added fuel to the fire when he said the two of them got drunk a lot to build chemistry. Okay then, the movie was shot during the COVID lockdown, and Priyanka hosted a lot of parties for the team. Sam was quick to add that these parties were for the whole crew to bond, and not only him and Priyanka. But honestly, it does seem like he has a crush on the Quantico actress. He says he was always a huge fan of hers, and that's what got him to sign on for Love Again. Sam can't go a day without being linked to his leading ladies. So maybe if he was less private about his love life, fans wouldn't have to speculate so much. Just a thought. While Sam doesn't share details about his personal life, he never shies away from calling people out if he's been wronged, like the time he spoke up about the full frontal nudity in Outlander because he thought it was completely unnecessary. In his 2022 memoir, Waypoints: My Scottish Journey, he admitted that he was well aware of how much sex and violence was in the show, and even though it was something that he accepted, he wasn't prepared for the kind of sexual assault that Blackjack Randall unleashed on his character. He argued that only the horrific experience, and that the audience didn't need to see his private parts. This led to a clash between Heughans and the creative team, and eventually they agreed that Jamie would be shown only after the assault, and all full frontal shots were left out of the final cut. Good on Sam for speaking up. I've gotta respect that. But this difference of opinion betrayed Sam's trust in his creative team, and he wrote that you don't have to see the horror to understand what Jamie was going through. He also said that back in 2014, there was no intimacy coordinator, and that the scene would have been handled much better if it was shot in 2023. But it all turned out well in the end because it started a conversation about the issue. By the time season 6 rolled around, there was a full-time intimacy coordinator on set because Sam's always been uncomfortable with and he also wanted to make sure that Katrina was protected and felt comfortable as well. Sam once confessed that being on stage was one of his biggest fears, and he still cringes thinking about his first time being on stage. It was during a play called Outlying Islands by David Gregg, and he was while his mother was in the audience. This was at the beginning of his career, and he even got nominated for the Laurence Olivier Award for his performance. Sadly, he didn't win. But making out on stage in all his birthday suit glory in front of his own mother was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to him. And get this, it was something he had nightmares about for years. He'd have these crazy dreams where he was naked on stage, but it wasn't until it happened in real life that those nightmares stopped. I guess in a weird way, it helped him conquer his fear of being naked in public because he probably didn't know it then, but his career was about to get a lot sexier. That said, doing a steamy scene with your mom in the audience, that's gotta be the ultimate embarrassment. Now, there's very little that scares our hero, but the Scottish winter is enough to challenge the bravest of them all. And Heughans wasn't okay with the cast and crew working in those conditions. While shooting season 7 on location in Scotland, things got pretty chilly. I'm talking minus 12 degrees Celsius. He even said that shooting the show felt post-apocalyptic. Clearly, the Scottish winter was the worst part of the whole process. After a slightly shorter 6th season, both the cast and the production crew were pulling out all the stops for this one, which will have a whopping 16 episodes instead of the usual 12. I mean, we all know Scotland can be pretty chilly, right? Well, imagine working outdoors at night, battling freezing temperatures. It's no walk in the park, and Heughans wasn't kidding when he said it was the worst part of filming. I can only imagine how tough it must be for him and the rest of the team. But unlike the time he spoke up about the unnecessary nudity and things actually changed, there was little that could be done this time around. But we can always trust him to speak up, even if it means defending a weird fan. A fan who tried to grab his butt on stage. It happened during a Wizard World event in New Orleans where they hosted an Outlander trivia showdown on stage. The idea was to create a fun and interactive experience for fans, but things took an unexpected turn. So while Sam was on stage, a female fan standing behind him made a bold move to grab his Well, she tried to at least. This caught him completely off guard, and he instinctively took a step back, clearly surprised by what had just happened. Luckily, someone captured the whole incident on video and shared it on Twitter. You can even hear the moderator's unapproving statements, clearly thinking it wasn't cool or acceptable and downright embarrassing for Sam. The audience had mixed reactions to the incident. Some found it funny and laughed it off, while others were outraged by her audacity. You can't just grab someone like that. But Sam actually spoke up for the fan and clarified later that she didn't actually touch him or harm him in any way. Sam's got his own share of crazy fans, or hooligans as they like to call themselves, and not all of them are harmless. He opened up about all the crap he's been dealing with while in the spotlight, and it's really sad, to be honest. In a post from 2020, he spoke about how he's constantly bullied, harassed, and stalked. People spread false rumors and stories about him, accusing him of manipulating fans and being gay and hiding it. They even said he tried to scam people for money. The list goes on, and it's not just him they targeted. They went after his colleagues too. Some even tried to hack into his email and personal accounts, sent him abusive messages, death threats, and even shared his private information, like where he was living in Hawaii. That's when Sam felt compelled to speak out, because all of this seriously affected his life and mental well-being. He had hoped these bullies would eventually disappear, but they didn't. Sam didn't go into too many details, but he did mention that some of these harassers were professionals. But when you're that famous, what's a few dozen crazy fans, right? So, from being accused of manipulating his fans to being romantically linked to his married co-star Katrina Belf, those were Sam Heughans' most controversial moments.